Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning for those who are joining from outside Asia. A warm welcome to PTTEP Virtual ESG Conference. My name is Lalida. I will be the host for today. This session is a live event and Q&A will be at the end of the presentation. If you have any question, you can type the question in the Microsoft Teams chat box at any time. Before we start, let's spend a few more minutes on safety moments. It is undeniable that climate change becomes more and more crucial topic around the world. And PTTEP would like to be a part of resolving this global crisis. Allow me to invite everyone to watch a short video. Please enjoy.
In light of the climate change crisis the world is currently facing, the time has come for us to unite to find a sustainable solution to drive the world forward. PTTEP is committed to embrace our responsibility towards the stewardship of the community, society, and the environment as part of our operations. A target was established to reduce greenhouse gas emission intensity by at least 25% by 2030 from the base year of 2012. In 2022, this goal is expected to be achieved 8 years ahead of schedule, with expected total accumulated greenhouse gas reduction of more than 3 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. In support of Thailand's commitment to the United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP26, PTTEP has established new targets to reduce greenhouse gas reduction intensity by 30% in 2030 and 50% in 2040 from the base year of 2020, and to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions in 2050. Under the EP Net Zero model, we set forth the following plans. E. Exploring for lower carbon E&P portfolio. The E&P portfolio will be managed to transform PTTEP into a lower carbon organization. Investment projects will be screened with an emphasis on natural gas and greenhouse gas intensity. P. Production and planet in balance. PTTEP will pursue the development of technology to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from the production process. In particular, carbon capture and storage, which will dramatically reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The captured emissions will be injected and sequestrated in the reservoirs located in the Gulf of Thailand and Malaysia, marking the first of its kind in Thailand. Aside, PTTEP will conduct research into carbon capture and utilization to reduce carbon dioxide for further usage, either as value-added products or future materials. Zero routine flare initiative for new projects. Technology will be utilized to recover flare gas along with carbon capture and storage. We also aim to maximize the use of renewable energy, such as solar and wind power at our operating sites. PTTEP also focuses on emissions offsetting through the planting of trees in forests and mangroves, which will increase the natural carbon sink with the target to absorb more than 2 million tons of carbon dioxide in 2050. Social projects under the Ocean for Life strategy will be continuously conducted to improve the abundance of biodiversity and marine ecosystems, as healthy oceans and coastal ecosystems are the efficient sources of carbon sink. Outlined here today are the plans PTTEP has in place to achieving its target of net zero greenhouse gas emissions in 2050. Join us on our journey, as only through the collaborative efforts of all of us will we bring sustainable future. PTTEP, energy partner of choice.
We are pleased to have Khun Thanasit Vichai Phairothwong, our Senior Vice President from Corporate Strategy Division, to give us a few words on the opening remarks. Please welcome Khun Thanasitค่ะ.
Hi everyone. I'm delighted to see many of you joining today's conference. And thank you again very much for your interest in our ESG. In recent years, we have seen increasing investors' interest and concerns over environmental, social, and governance, or the ESG matters. And I believe it has now become an important part in your investment decision. One of the most interesting aspects to the ESG is on how E&P companies like PTTEP can drive ourselves towards sustainability and adapt to energy transition trend, and finding the right balance between business performance and the ESG. Many countries around the world have already pledged to the energy transition by reducing reliance on coal and other fossil fuels, including developing more cleaner energy sources. This energy transition is a challenging journey for PTTEP. It needs a well preparation and requires great effort and commitment. Throughout the 36 years, PTTEP has evolved and established sustainable development concept into our operating framework. We believe that the right balance of business, social, and environment aspect is a key success factor to achieve a sustainable organization. We therefore focus on strengthening our business foundation with aim to deliver value to all stakeholders as guided by our vision, energy partner of choice. Today's conference will give you insights of our sustainability development directly from our 4 speakers, who are experts in respective areas in ESG. I hope all of you enjoy the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Khun Thanasit, for the opening remarks. Today, we are honored to have our speakers to share with you an insight on our sustainable development. Let's start with the introduction to our speakers today. Firstly, Khun Susama Pitakundilok, our Vice President from Sustainable Development and Knowledge Management Department. Khun Susama will give us an overview of our SD framework, SD reporting and benchmarking, and our human rights policy. Secondly, Khun Khomsat Lerth Viriya Prapha. He is our Vice President from Environment Management Department, who will talk about the net zero pathway, greenhouse gas management, and initiatives in circular model for E&P and Ocean for Life strategy. The next speaker is Khun Bustaban Jeanjaran, Vice President of Social Responsibility Department. Khun Bustaban will provide us on what contributions and CSR projects we do, and also our response during COVID-19 pandemic. And our last speaker, Khun Shalida Sikorakun, Vice President from Governance, Compliance, Internal Control, and Subsidiary Management Department. The topic today will be governance at PTTEP and our business ethics. Without further ado, I would like to pass the stage to Khun Susama for the first section on sustainable development at PTTEP.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction and good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here with all of you for this introduction of to PTTEP sustainability part. For PTTEP, the term sustainability is used to cover all dimensions of the UN triple bottom line, which is economics, social, and environment. So basically, when we consider ESG to be part of the sustainability, PTTEP has the vision to become the energy partner of choice through competitive performance and innovation for long-term value creation. Our mission is to operate globally for reliable energy supply and sustainable values to all stakeholders. We have our core values called EP spirit to help us in the achievement of a one team, one goal aspiration. Next, please. Our sustainability is governed by PTTEP SD statement approved by our board of directors since July 2020. The statement highlights our commitment to be a responsible and resilient organization, embracing energy transition, and creating shared values to stakeholders. Next, please. PTTEP's sustainability framework comprises 3 main parts. The first part is HPO, or High Performance Organization, or we call it Be Smart in short. GRC, Governance, Risk Management and Compliance, or Be Good. And SVC, or Stakeholder Value Creation, or Be Responsible. Our sustainability framework is also in line and supports the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. We believe that the framework can help improving PTTEP performance and consequently the ability to create long-term value to stakeholders, or as we say, from we to world. Our sustainability governance structure has been established to ensure effectiveness of sustainability implementation within the company. From the very top level, we have a board of directors, a sub-board called Corporate Governance and Sustainable Development, or CGSD Committee, and Management Committee to define policy and strategic direction, which are then cascaded down to Corporate Strategy Division and all functions and staff to take part of the execution. This slide shows the 2022 PTTEP materiality issues. From this figure, 12 issues have been identified. The issues come from the study to define top sustainability issues that have highest priority in the view of both PTTEP stakeholders and the company. From the figure, our top 5 material issues include energy transition towards net zero, technology and innovation, governance, risk management and compliance, safety, security, health and environment, and the last one is contribution to communities and society. From those material sustainability issues, next please. As previously mentioned, corporate strategic framework has been established. The framework comprises 4 core areas. The first one is E&P growth. The focuses in this area are on the value creation for our existing assets, maintaining of competitive unit costs, expanding gas-weighted portfolio, and driving in LNG business. The second is decarbonization, which the focuses are on the achievement of EP net zero by 2050 through the EP portfolio management, greenhouse gas emissions reduction, acceleration of carbon capture storage or CCS project, as well as various greenhouse gas offsetting projects like land forestation and blue carbon. The next one is beyond E&P, which the focuses are on the scaling up of AI and robotics venture, exploring power-related business opportunity, and carbon capture storage and utilization, or CCUS. This also includes the future energy, such as hydrogen, and also to commercialize our in-house technology. Lastly is resource preparedness. This area includes enablers, which are key success factors for business sustainability. Those include people, business support and company activity, finance, and research and development, including technology. Okay, that would be for the first part.
Susama for the comprehensive sharing on PTTEP SD. Moving on to the ESG, we will start with E, the environment. Allow me to invite Kun Komsan, our expert in this area, to the stage.
สวัสดีครับ Good afternoon or good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to share information on the environmental topic to you all today. In my presentation, I will cover 5 topics. The first one we will touch on the system and how PTTEP manage and implement environment. The second one will be on the greenhouse gas management. And then we will follow by circular model for E&P with examples and results. The next will be biodiversity and ecosystem services with the targets and progress that PTTEP have made. And the last one will be on the environmental awards and recognitions. Let's get started. In PTTEP, we have safety, security, health, and environment, or we call in short, SHE, management system and policy, which is aligned with international standards with our ultimate goal of target zero. Nobody gets hurt in our operations. In our CMS model, there are 7 elements, which is aligned with the International Oil and Gas Producers Association, or IOGP, ISO 14001 for environmental management system. ISO 45001 Occupational Health and Safety Management System. And in our policy, there are some key messages outlined, such as ensure safety of personnel and communities, including environmental protection. And we wish and we hope to achieve the highest level of Chi culture, reduce environmental footprints, and create positive environmental value. And we will empower our task force workforce for the use of stop work authority and improve Chi performance continuously. If we look at the Chi MS model into the details of the environment, for the sake of time today, let me go through only some examples to you. For the first element, for the leadership and commitment, we committed to zero non-compliance and applying ISO 14001 into our operating assets. For element number 3, organization resources and documentation, we have specific environmental standards, guidelines, and procedures, including databases. And together with the robust and regular environmental training and awareness programs to all our workforce, including contractors. During the COVID-19 period of 2 years, we have developed several e-learning programs, such as spill management and biodiversity. For element number 4, evaluation and risk management. For the new projects and amendment projects, we have environmental impact assessment or EIA in place. And on top of that, we also have specific environmental risk assessment, for example, climate risk, water risk, and also biodiversity, in order to have the mitigation in place to reduce the impact. Let's go to the next topic, which is the greenhouse gas management, which is the very key agenda to achieve our pathway of EP Net Zero 2050, which we already seen in the video. Actually, PTTEP has worked on the greenhouse gas management since the year 2012, where we had our baseline data and set the original target to reduce 25% of greenhouse gas emissions intensity by year 2030. In year 2021, we have achieved 24.1%, and we expected to achieve 25% at the end of this year, which is 8 years ahead of the target. Therefore, in year 2022, or this year, we have reviewed and set a new ambitious target for net zero greenhouse gas emissions by year 2050 for E&P projects under our operational control in Scope 1 and Scope 2. And also we set the interim target of 30% greenhouse gas intensity reduction by year 2030 and 50% reduction by year 2040. To achieve these targets and ambition, we have set EP Net Zero pathway based on the concept of avoid, mitigate, and offset. By lower our carbon portfolio management, zero routine flare from the new assets, carbon capture utilization and storage, to maximize renewable energy in our operations, full application of the circular economy concept in our operations as well. Methane emission reduction by technology, also another important strategy. And to deal with the residual or remaining emissions, we will look into carbon removal projects, such as land forestation or blue carbon projects. Or in the future, when technology is available, we look into the advanced carbon removal technology as well. With our net zero or EP net zero target, roadmap, deployment, and the work programs, it can demonstrate our alignment with TCFD framework on governance, strategy, risk management, as well as metrics and targets as shown in the model. We are pleased to say that from our environmental reports to the JSI, we obtained continuous ranking of 100 for the past 3 years on the climate strategy. And for the reports to CDP, we are ranked at the leadership level for 7 consecutive years. Let's look further into the greenhouse gas emission profiles and our reduction initiatives. For the source of our emissions, the main portions, 57% are from flaring and 35% are from stationary combustion. In the view graph below, we can see that the contribution of our greenhouse gas reduction initiatives, demonstrating our commitment from all our operating sites to create and implement those projects. In year 2021, we have reduced more than 358,000 tons of CO2 equivalent from flare gas recovery utilization, process plant and energy efficiency improvement, and the hydrocarbon leak detection and repair. With the new target of EP net zero by 2050, although we have several reductions initiatives mentioned in the previous slide already, it is still insufficient to meet our ambitious goal. So the carbon capture and storage, or CCS, is the key factor that we need to reduce large-scale greenhouse gas emissions, which is aligned with the direction of International Energy Agency, or IEA, that CCS technology plays an important role in the next 10 to 20 years towards the net zero by year 2050. The question is how CCS works. At PTTEP, we are currently studying to apply CCS to reduce CO2 emissions from our offshore oil and gas production facilities. The CCS has 3 fundamental processes. The first one is to capture CO2 at processing platform. Number 2, transfer the CO2 to storage facility. And step 3 is to have CO2 storage at subsurface formation, such as aquifer or depleted reservoir. We believe that successful CCS projects need technology, collaboration, and investment. CCS is a new thing, especially for Thailand. So we need to collaborate with those who have expertise to work together alongside with us. And the picture on the left-hand side, in April this year, PTTEP has signed an MOU with INPEX and JGC from Japan on CCS development in Thailand. On the right, in June, PTTEP has signed an MOU with PTT Group on CCS hub model, with our goal to successfully implement CCS projects in our Thailand and international offshore operations to support PTTEP net zero ambition, and also successful CCS hub model in Thailand and overseas as well. Let's move on to the next topic, which is the circular model for E&P. For waste management, we apply waste management hierarchy to optimize resource, mitigate environmental impacts by remove, reduce, reuse, recycle, recover before we treat or dispose of the waste. In terms of the target, we have set the target to achieve zero hazardous waste to landfill, and we are pleased to say that we already achieved this. And our next milestones are to achieve zero industrial waste to landfill by year 2025, and ultimate goal is zero waste to landfill of all type by year 2030. On the resource utilization, below are the two key examples of our efforts on the circular model for E&P in year 2021. On the left, we have successfully relocated our first offshore wellhead platform to reuse in Artit field in the Gulf of Thailand. On the right, we have completed a pilot project of drill cuttings utilization for 1.2 kilometers long road pavement at our rapid scale-up center in Rayong province. The next topic is on the biodiversity and ecosystem services, or BES. PTTEP have set 4 targets with strategy to create positive BES value. The first one is a commitment on no gross deforestation for E&P from year 2021 onwards, which we have achieved it. Second one, avoid operating in the World Heritage Sites as defined by UNESCO. We also have achieved it as well. The third one is on no net loss in protected area defined by IUCN Category 1 to 4 by year 2044. This is ongoing. We already have biodiversity action plan in place and we are implementing it. And the last one is the net positive impact for ocean BES value by year 2030. At current, we already achieved 29.1% based on year 2021 data. And for example of the BES projects inside and outside our operation areas, on the left-hand side is the example of the project that we are very proud to work with Kasetsart University for the first microplastic baseline study in the Gulf of Thailand. The measurement took place at our 3 offshore facilities, as well as Koh Tao and Koh Losin. In the middle, we have collaborated also with Kasetsart University and AI and Robotics Ventures, our subsidiary, who is specialized in drone operations, to conduct coral bleaching baseline study at Koh Manai and Pala Beach in Rayong province by multi-spectral drone. On the right-hand side, at our Artit field, one of our offshore assets in the Gulf of Thailand, our team has invented and implemented underwater camera with aquatic animal motion detection underneath our production platform to observe and record the aquatic lives. And this is my last slide to show on the several environmental awards and recognitions that we have received. In terms of management system, PTTEP was the first E&P in Southeast Asia to receive ISO 14001 certificate in 1990s. And we have adopted ISO 14001 certification to all our operating assets. In terms of performance, benchmarking by DJSI, we are in the top quartile ranking for environmental dimensions, such as environmental reporting, biodiversity, and climate strategy. For infrastructure, we have received Green Office Award Gold level by Thai Environmental Institute for our offices in Bangkok, as well as upcountry. And this is the end of the environmental part.
For the knowledge on our environmental aspect. Coming up next is S from Social. It is my pleasure to welcome Kun Busaban.
Good afternoon. CSR strategy in line with the UN SDG number 14. Second one, our key achievement in 2021. The third one is about the fight against COVID-19. And lastly, about CSR award we received in 2022. As our operations are mainly offshore, we believe it is our home. PTTEP started to implement this Ocean for Life strategy a few years ago by ramping up CSR around the ocean. The 3P framework, protect, preserve, and provide, covers 6 main CSR projects under 5 work streams were formulated with the objective to increase the biodiversity and ecosystem, as well as the community income for better livings of the people in 17 coastal provinces along the Gulf of Thailand, and to support our 3 SD long-term target, as shown on the left-hand side of this presentation. The first one is to achieve the net positive impact on ocean biodiversity and ecosystem services, or BS value, in domestic offshore operation in 2025 and out offshore operation by 2030 compared to the 2019 baseline. The second one is to increase 50% of community income of focus community, and lastly, to achieve the 60,000 conservation networks by 2030 compared to the baseline data before project implementation. Back to our 3P framework on the right-hand side. Under the Protect framework, certainly, the objective is to protect the ocean through waste management program and to prevent the flowing of waste from land to pollute the seas. The key work stream is the ocean waste management. The second one is under the Preserve framework. It is to restore marine and coastal resources through mangrove reforestation program. Mangrove is the source of food and aquaculture of both economic and endangered species. The key work streams are first, the mangrove reforestation. Second one is the Marine Life Conservation and Rehabilitation Center, which is comprised of 2 sub-projects, the Aquatic Animal Hatchery Learning Center and the Sea Turtle Conservation. And the third work stream is Coastal Conservation and Fish Home. For the Provide framework on the left-hand side, it means providing the fishermen better income and thus driving the local economic growth. After the aquatic animal quantity are increasing, the artisanal fishermen can catch them more. They previously sell them as raw products with small amount of cash in return. We started our seafood product value enhancement program to provide them know-how, equipment, and establish online marketing platforms for them. It is to ensure that we meet the seafood hygiene standard with better quality and taste. Moreover, they can sell their product online with at least double income. All flagship projects' performance were evaluated with the social return on investment, or SROI, method by third party. It delivered very good results, showing that the social benefit for each project is over 3 times of its investment. Next, I would like to highlight the 2021 CSR project achievement, which cover both the Ocean for Life corporate strategy and the Wellbeing for Life operational strategy. In 2021, our CSR project showed impressive key performance in line with 5 SDG goals. For Ocean Waste Management project, we could help clearing over 64 tons of beach and ocean waste. Last year, we achieved the 1,000 rights of tree planting, equivalent to 2,750 tons of carbon absorption from mangrove forestation project. For Marine Life Conservation and Rehabilitation Center, we have established 11 aquatic animal hatchling learning centers along the Gulf of Thailand, with 42 groups of marine resources conservation network that will help expand their knowledge to communities. The 2,000 million juvenile crabs were released from the center to the ocean. For coastal conservation area fish home, we placed 14 fish homes in 9 provinces along the Gulf of Thailand, with the conservation area covering 7.3 square kilometers. For seafood product value enhancement project, we established 5 seafood project groups in community along the Gulf of Thailand and provide them knowledge and equipment for food preservation with hygiene. We also create the online marketing platform for them that help increase their product price by roughly 78%. Apart from the Ocean for Life corporate strategy, we also implement the Wellbeing for Life operational strategy for our onshore operation. PTTEP provides education and job opportunities, professional skill development, income generation, better health, and environmental conservation. We initiate the hospital and medical centers development program in many regions of Thailand. We supported the hospital infrastructure improvement to provide better service for local people. The first project in Lankabu Hospital, we support them to build the 36th anniversary of PTTEP S1 building of 60 beds and 10 special rooms with medical equipment and supply. Songkhla Hospital is the second project. The construction of 7 fully equipped operating rooms with 6 recovery beds for emergency services were done last year. With this, the hospital can save patients with burn injury, reduce risks of escalating infection or loss of life. Under this project, the hospital has catered service to about 2,000 patients more. In Indonesia, we implement the stunting prevention program in East Nusa Tenggara. The child stunting prevention in Indonesia is national agenda. The project can benefit about 2,700 children in the area. Next, PTTEP sponsors about 3,000 scholarships annually for students from elementary to university levels, both in Thailand and overseas. We also sponsor the KWIS and WISTEC Institute as part of PTTEP, as part of PTT Group. It is the high school and first graduate research intensive university in Thailand. Apart from that, we also grant them to scholarship for undergrad program. In Myanmar, technical capability building and development project can help the local people for better job opportunities. PTTEP provide essential technical training program and establish training centers for them. The similar project is also implemented in Songkhla province in the south of Thailand. Another successful program is the flat gas utilization for community agricultural product project. This implement in the operating area of Sirikit Oilfield. It helps reducing local cooperative cost of cooking gas about 32 million Thai baht since the project started. Another energy saving program is the Waste to Energy. It helps saving LPG costs by installing biogas pond using household waste to generate cooking gas. This project is widely set up in Udon Thani province in the northeastern part of Thailand and in Myanmar. Under the Thai Heritage World Heritage Project, we supported the renovation of Khao Yai National Park's exhibition center for tourists, attracting 300,000 visitors per year. Back to a place nearby Bangkok, the forest reforestation of eco-learning at Srinakhon Khön Khan Park in Bang Krachao province, which was voted to be the best urban oasis of Asia. This park is in Samut Prakan. It is a popular trail for bird seeing, hiking, and road biking, but you can also still enjoy some solitude during the quiet time of the day. It also contributes carbon absorption of 335 tons of CO2 equivalent per year. Another program that PTTEP helped supporting since the outbreak is the Fight Against COVID-19 project. The COVID-19 pandemic started since late 2019. PTTEP provides our innovation and financial support over 155 million Thai baht to hospitals, educational institutions, government agencies, as well as the private organization, both in Thailand and overseas. For domestic support, PTTEP, together with the AI Robotic Venture or ARV, developed many innovative technology to help fighting the pandemic. The first is negative pressure patient transfer and wheelchair, as well as the mobile negative pressure boxes distributed to 89 hospitals across the country. Another new technology is the externalizer or the UV disinfectant robot and the Kala medical supplies and food delivery robot. It can help distributing medical and food within the hospital and decrease the risk of contacting the patient. ARV also developed the cold chain monitoring system to control COVID-19 vaccine temperature, which we donated to the Ministry of Public Health to use nationwide. For research and development support, we sponsor the educational sector for the research such as the development of Chula COVID-19 strip test and Swiss-Tech test kit diagnosis. PTTEP also signed the MOU with CU Enterprise and Bayer Phyto Farm to provide sponsorship of 30 million Thai baht, as well as knowledge and technology sharing for the research and development of Chula Bayer vaccine. For medical equipment and other support, we donated 139 units of the Air2 humidifier with integrated flow generator to Busarakam Field Hospital and another hospitals around Bangkok metropolitan region. PTTEP also handed over 36,000 PTTEP care box or home isolation kit for self-isolation patients, as well as deliver the preventive medical equipment such as the PPE, VAPR to support medical operations. For international country where we have operation, we donated fund and protection equipment to government agency and organization in Myanmar, Malaysia, Indonesia, Mozambique, and Algeria. Total international support is 10.7 million baht. Next, please allow me to present a 3-minute video summarize PTTEP's fight against COVID-19. And the last slide is I would like to take this opportunity to show you with what we call the assurance of our CSR long-term project success. Since 2014, PTTEP started to submit our CSR program to both domestic and international honorable CSR award contests, and we received over 60 awards. We believe that it is a good measurement to certify that our CSR project performance can compete in the international arena and thus provide sustainability to the society. The latest 2022 recognition are from the Asset Awards in Hong Kong for the Community Health Development Program, the Global CSR Excellence and Leadership Awards in India for the Stunting Prevention Program in Indonesia, the International CSR Excellence Award in the United Kingdom for the HTMS Underwater Learning Site project, and the Golden Peacock Award for overall corporate social responsibility performance for a third consecutive year. And now I end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Khun Busaban, for sharing with us on the social side. In this meantime, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to type in the Microsoft Teams chat box at any time. Our speaker will answer them at the Q&A session. All right, we still have the one topic left, which is the G from governance. We have Khun Shalida with us today. Please welcome Khun Shalida.
สวัสดีค่ะ everyone. After you have learned about our E and S, now it's time for the information about the G, the governance. So there are 5 topics for this area. The first one is good corporate governance and business ethics. The second one is anti-corruption, and third is whistleblowing, awards and recognition, and lastly is human rights. Okay. We would like to ensure to public that PTTEP is committed to conducting business with transparency and effectiveness by adhering to the good corporate governance and business ethics. This is to assure stable and sustainable growth of the company. So in this regard, we have adopted the corporate governance code which was established by the SEC and adapted it to fit our business. Next, please. To achieve the company's objective with good governance, PTTEP has clear lines of authorities to enable issues to be escalated, resolved, and efficiently monitored. In terms of governance structure, we have board of directors representing shareholders who give guidance, strategic direction, and also set policies. We have in total of 15 directors, which 10 of whom are independent directors. Our board of directors consists of experienced individuals with significant experiences and skill mix. The various skills focus on 3 priorities. The first one is organization change and development. This is to support the business change, the operatorship transfer of newly acquired project, organization transformation and new business, workforce diversity, and human resource management. So the second one is legal. This is to support legal risk compliance and risk management and compliance, new law in responding to new technology and dynamic environment change. The third area is international market and collaboration. This is to support, execute, and expand strategy, expand more investment into new business, develop potential in commercial and marketing and international relationship. We also have sub-board committees to assist board of directors in 4 specific areas, namely risk management committee, nominating and remuneration committee, audit committee, and the governance and corporate governance and sustainable development committees, or what we call CGSD committee in short. The board has assigned the CG committee to oversee and assure that the company's operation are in line with the SD strategy and target, and also as well as the CGBE principles, and that the good corporate governance is always maintained at the level of international standard. Next, please. Not only the ESG strategy that we are committed to, we also value fairness, good governance, and a zero tolerance policy for corruption of any kind. Our commitment is demonstrated through our established policy. We have good corporate governance and business ethics, which we call CGBE booklet. This is for every staff. And also we have a commitment form for employees to affirm their adherence to our CGBE. And also we have standard of practice for anti-corruption for all employees and no gift policy for employees and also external parties. Vendor sustainable code of conduct. This policy aims to encourage vendor and suppliers to also have the same anti-corruption best practice that PTT has implemented. And also to assure employees to have sufficient knowledge and understanding of anti-corruption and are able to apply to their work. We therefore provide organization-wide communication and training. So for example, we have anti-corruption guideline for new staff, and we arrange for a training called CGBE Train the Trainer. This is for supervisor level in order to promote being an ethical role model and ability to advise their subordinate appropriately. And we have CGBE online training for all employees to review their understanding on CGBE. And we announce the no gift policy publicly and encourage vendors and suppliers to attend anti-corruption training, which we conduct every year. And we establish conflict of interest reporting system. And for the monitoring, for the CG and SD issue, we have monitored and report to the management committee and to the CG and SD committee on regular basis. Additionally, the company is developing GRC One Digital System in order to support management in receiving key information, which will enable them to make better decisions. The system includes key information such as risk information, internal control assessment report, non-compliant cases, trend of complaints from whistleblowing system. Next, please. For the whistleblowing, if anyone observes any behaviors or situation that may be violate the laws or regulation of PTTEP, they can submit complaint through whistleblowing channel, which can be by post or by email, and by accessing to the whistleblowing system on our website. We established the whistleblowing regulation to ensure that all related matters are handled on a fair and transparent basis. The complaint received will be treated with the utmost confidentiality. So we also allow the anonymous whistleblower as one of the protection for the whistleblower. We also provide an appropriate protection to the involved party from any retaliation. Lastly, if the complaint caused a detrimental impact on any person, we also provide a remedy to mitigate the impact. And with the commitment to ongoing development of good corporate and governance, we earn various recognition for good corporate governance both domestically and internationally. This year we received the NACC Integrity Award for the 4th time, and we are being rated excellent for the Corporate Governance Report or CGR. And also we are being certified by Thai Private Sector Corrective Action Coalition Against Corruption or CAC as a member for the 3rd consecutive term. We also received 2 awards at the 2019 Asian CG Scorecard for the Asian Top 20 PLC and Asian Asset Class PLC. Okay, for the human rights, please, Kun Sutsama. Thank you.
Shalida for the governance part. I would like now to request Kun Susama once again to cover the remaining area on the human rights and PTTEP's ESG reporting and benchmarking.
Okay, thank you very much, Kun Lalita. As part of the corporate governance, PTTEP gives high importance to human rights issues related to our business operations. We are aware that it is nature of oil and gas business to operate in some of the most challenging locations around the world and can face complex human rights related issues. According to the IPCA or the International Petroleum Industry Environmental Conservation Association, human rights issue in oil and gas industry includes 4 areas, which are workplace, safety, security, health and environment, supply chain, and community. To ensure effective management of the human rights issues, PTTEP Human Rights Management System has been initiated in line with the UN Global Compact Management Model, a guide for integrating human rights into business management, and IPCA human rights due diligence process. The management system covers 6 key steps, which are commit, assess, integrate, measure, remedy, and report. PTTEP conducts a human rights risk assessment for all of our operations across 15 countries and develops a mitigation plan for all high to medium risk with routine monitoring. 3 key enablers to ensure the effectiveness of PTTEP human rights due diligence include, firstly, we have our human rights policy and management system implemented across organizations under the same standards. Secondly, we have our human rights risk assessment integrated as part of the annual corporate risk assessment, covering 100% of operating assets, non-operating joint ventures, and Tier 1 suppliers. Lastly, PTTEP conducts a third-party audit every 3 years to ensure that our human rights due diligence is effective and in line with international standards and principles. PTTEP human rights policy has been established and periodically reviewed to ensure that our principles on fundamental human rights are always in line with international best practices. Highlights include the respect on the rights of individuals, identification of human rights risk, reinforcement of good management practices, compliance assurance in place, and ensure transparency of the human rights management. PTTEP is committed to improving diversity in our business operations. The diversity statement has been put in place with the commitments towards equal treatment of non-discrimination, including country of origin, nationality, skin color, age, religion, culture, and gender. The right-hand side is a gender diversity of our company in comparison with the other industries. The figure shows that the percentage of PTTEP women workforce in 2022 is 33%, better than the average of the overall oil and gas peers, which is about 22. Next, please. PTTEP aims to continuously improve our sustainability performance in all dimensions. We benchmark our sustainability performance with other peers through various recognized international ESG rating platforms. For example, DJSI, MSCI, or Morgan Stanley Capital International, Moody's, CDP, and Sustainalytics. The rating shows that our sustainability performance in overall is better than the peer average, with some improvement opportunities in the future. Finally, I'd like to say that we are committed to continuously improve our performance, not only to support the sustainability of the company, but also to support the sustainability of the country where we operate, and also to support the achievement of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Last but not least, our sustainability management and performance are disclosed in line with the Global Reporting Initiative standards specific to oil and gas sector. Additionally, all key related figures, including safety, security, health, and environment, are assured on annual basis by third party. And if you'd like to find out more about our journey towards sustainability, you can find it in our sustainability report and also in PTTEP website. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all 4 speakers for the presentation. Next will be the Q&A session. If anyone has any question, please type your question in the Microsoft Teams chat box. So while we are waiting the question for coming in, let's start with the advanced question that we received. The first question, does PTTEP and PTT Group have a Scope 3 carbon intensity target? If not, what is the timeline for the target?
Okay, for PTTEP and PTT, we are now do not have the Scope 3 carbon intensity reduction yet, but we are now working together, with PTTEP and PTT Group, trying to come up with a target setting for the scope 3. However, now PTTEP, we routinely disclose our scope 3 emission data in our website and in our sustainability reports, including the transportation and air travel category. And we are now working on building up the database for the scope 3.
Okay, thank you, Khun Susamaค่ะ. And moving on to the next questions. Could the company share more on the current CCS development and whether there will be a potential hiccups to start up the CCS operation by 2026?
Okay, I can take this one. In terms of CCS, as mentioned in the presentation, at the moment we are under engineering study and feasibility study for domestic offshore asset, and this is the plan that we will complete this year. As so far, the study is in progress and no notable complication or constraint. It still go as planned. In terms of potential hiccup, from what we can see at the moment, as I think everybody know that CCS is a new thing for Thailand. A lot of people still working on it. So I think at the moment, what we see is the in terms of policy and regulation is still unclear. But I believe at the moment the government part also working hard on this as well, together with the industry to make a successful CCS implementation in Thailand.
Thank you, Khun for the answer. For the next question, we still be with the CCS, with quite a hot topic around this day. Can the existing pipeline used to transport gas be utilized for CCS purpose, or the new infrastructure has to be built? And can you please go through the economics of it at the current cost, or which level of the carbon price needed to be incorporated in the project economy?
Okay, I can continue. At this stage, I think a little bit too premature to pinpoint in terms of figures, but it depends on the result of the engineering and feasibility study. But for example, the existing pipeline and infrastructure, maybe at Artit field, the one that we are currently studying, can have some existing infrastructure for CCS application, but at the end, it still depends on the final engineering studies. For other projects, pretty much still we need to study. Yeah. In terms of the cost, the same is part of the study as well, feasibility and economic review. And but in terms of the budget, company have placed about $300 million for CCS during the 5 years budget planning. In terms of internal carbon price, maybe if Khun Susama can help.
Yeah, for the internal carbon price, we have set up a concept, trying to include the greenhouse gas emissions as part of the new investment decision criteria. We put the consideration in terms of past performance review, and also we calculate the estimated investment cost of the project, to bring down the emission intensity to align with our existing net zero pathway, or turn into the economics value for the management to decide as part of the new investment decision. This concept has been approved by our management committee in the first quarter, and we are starting to implement that concept within the company.
Okay, thank you both for the answer. And moving on to the next question. How does PTTEP compare with other E&P peers with regards to the ESG aspect?
oh, sorry. We have ESG benchmarking with peers, within the industry. The the most famous, ratings, include the S&P Global, the DJSI, the MSCI, Moody's, and CDPs, and that's for international. And also for Thailand, we do have the SET Sustainability Award, as one of the key ESG benchmarking for Thai companies as well. And we continuously achieve the highest level of awards from the SET Sustainability for the domestic level as well. And we use this benchmarking to pierce our performance, as well as to find the gaps, for the improvement opportunities in the future.
Okay, thank you, Khun Susamaค่ะ. And let's move on to the next question, which is on the human rights topic. Could you share some information on the human rights third-party audit? When will the next one take place? And what do you see as a main challenge for the implementation for your commitments?
We started to have the third-party audit of our human rights management system last 2 years. The next one due in 2023. And we use a third party to help us review our human rights management system, and also the human rights risks and issues specific for each country. And also we use them to help us identify the improvement opportunities, how to manage human rights issues better, specific in each country as well. And we disclose, some of the information in our website and also in our sustainability report. And what was the next question?
Thank you, Khun Susama. And the next question, let us get back to the carbon topic. Is there a countrywide policy in Thailand for the carbon tax, and how will this affect PTTEP?
At the moment, there is still no carbon tax regulation in Thailand.
Are there any further questions? If anyone has any question, please feel free to type your question in the chat box. So we'll get you a few seconds to put on the question in the chat box. All right. If there are no more questions, I would like to thank you once again to all our speakers for the presentation and answering all the questions. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We hope that this event has given you a clearer understanding on our ESG. Finally, for us to improve the event in the future, please help us complete the questionnaire by scanning the QR code on the last page of the slides or clicking the link in the chat box. And thank you once again for your time, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.